Hey everybody, you guys know I'm always excited when I get a new printer with, newer technology or better technology, I should say, and I'm really hopped up today. Phrozen Sonic Mini 8K. Now, for those of you who watched my maybe bad April Fool's Day joke last year, just 9 months ago, I was joking about getting a small screen 8K printer. That's back when the best printer I had was a 2K screen. And here we are 9 months later, and here's the 8K screen. So maybe I shouldn't have made that April Fool's video. It was more prophetic than an April Fool's joke. So I'm really excited to get testing this. Full disclosure, Phrozen sent it to me to review for free. As you guys know, it does not affect my review at all. Whatever it is, but I will admit that I'm super duper excited to see what this thing can do. So let's see what's in the box real quick. Warranty card, instructions, sanding paper, power cord. It's the kind I like that plugs into the normal plug, and it's got alternate power supply if you're not in the US. Funnel, gloves, scraper, metal scraper, plastic scraper. Okay, standard stuff. Lift off cover. Oh, this one has a little lid around it. Wait, let me just check that out again. Okay, that's a lid, and there's a little lip around that makes it just fit on nicely. It's got a sticker on the top so you can tell where the front is, but let me just see if it's symmetrical. Oh, it fits on anyway, so that part's good. I like that. As far as plastic cover goes, good. This is heavy. It's not flimsy. It's thick plastic. It feels like that's good. Now let's. Like I said, I'm really excited to see. So you've got dual linear rails. Now we know if there was any knock on the Phrozen Sonic Mini 4K, and in all honesty, I had 4 of them. I didn't have this problem at all, but I know I saw other people posting their Sonic Mini 4Ks that they had some flex in the Z, and that affected their printing. 4 of mine, and it didn't. That's just what it is. Maybe I got lucky. So this has the dual rod instead of the single, and this is nice. This is not moving. I mean, I will watch it closely when it's printing and report to you, but this feels, as they advertised, very stable, dual linear rod. Great. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Let's check the build plate. All metal. Now see, I'm not saying they listen to me. Maybe they just listen to the community in general, but something I've been harping on. This has a nice high lift over the plate, so unless you really overfill your vat, you're not going to get resin pooling up in this area, which is good. I like that it's tall. This is really thick arm, all metal arm, thick. This thing is obviously not going to bend. I mean, you could probably put a couple 100 pounds on here. I don't think that would bend. So that's good. It's got the 4-screw leveling system, which everyone who watches my videos know that is my preferred leveling system over the ball joint. I don't know if this comes leveled or not. I'll report back after I will test to see if it came leveled. It's got, build plate is nice. It's got, you probably won't be able to see it on the video. I don't even know if a close-up would show it. It's got like a little kind of, almost like diamondish, like engraved pattern. So it doesn't feel rough or anything, but it definitely feels textured. So that's looking good. It's got decent slope, you can see. And it's sloped everywhere, so resin won't build up on the build plate. It will a tiny little bit on the screws here, because those will be submerged, and there's a little cutout at the top of the screw, so there will be resin pooling in those screws specifically. So I wish they'd somehow made the top of those screws, I don't know how you would do that, like kind of like filled in or something, but whatever, it's not that big a deal. And then where the screw's in, there's a tiny little flat part around each screw, so there will be a little bit of resin around each of the screws. Okay, not the end of the world for me. I will just clean that now and then, of course. So I really like this armature, and the build plate looks excellent. You can see it's pretty big. For a small printer, it's a good size build plate. So, and I'm really liking how the Z looks right now. And you push it all the way in and screw it in. That is locked in. That's nice. All right, so let's check out next. Let's check out the build plate. You screw it all the way in. Okay. Excellent. It's got little legs that fit into the little holes. Screen is taped. So as you can see if hopefully you can see it from there, it's longer and skinnier than other build plates. So we'll have to check that out. Now, nice heavy metal vat with handles, and it's got the max fill line I always want, so that's excellent right there. And it's got little legs, so this right now is meeting all my, kind of like bells and whistles that I want to see on a printer. Build plate, vat setup, very excellent, thoughtful design, which is, I don't understand why that's not on every printer. And then because of that, it pops in easily, and you can secure the vat quite easily. So obviously the next thing to do is we're going to do the light source test, which I'll run here and show you how it is. And power supply is in the back, on-off switch in the back, fan in the back. And the USB, now I like this, I know some people don't. USB is in the front, easy to get to. Some people might say easy to spill resin into. I still have never had one of those catastrophic spills where resin comes over my printer and goes everywhere. The screen is recessed. My only criticism so far, just looking at it from unboxing, I would have liked a bigger touchscreen. I think on a printer like this, with as high quality as they made everything, I really would like to see a slightly bigger touchscreen, but to me it doesn't really matter much at all. That's like a very, very nitpicky thing. Other than that, weight is pretty heavy. It's solid metal construction. The outside is plastic though, which makes it a little lighter than some other ones, but all the important parts are metal, including the vat. So I don't mind that the casing is plastic. That saves some money on the printer and makes it a little lighter. So it's heavy, but not as heavy as some others just because this part isn't metal. Could potentially, I guess if you drop a lot of resin on it, or if you're kind of rough with your machine, could plastic crack one day? I guess that's a potential downside. But for me, I don't think it's going to make a difference. So I'm pretty careful with my printers. So that's it. Light source test is important, and then 8K. I mean, on a small screen. So let's see what this baby can do. So I'm gonna put it through its paces for a couple days. I will test a bunch of different prints. I will, of course, load up the plate full and see how it does with a full plate as well. And I'm really excited to get started on this. I'm so hoping this lives up to my expectations. I don't want to be disappointed here. And at least from the construction of the machine so far, I don't feel like I'm going to be. This really looks like a nice, thoughtful, solid machine. So let's hope it lives up to it. And be back in a second your time, a couple days my time, in a different hoodie. We'll see what happens. Okay, I've done my testing. 5 days worth of testing. I must have printed, 50 plus figures. And just to warn people, I think this is the first time on a Phrozen printer, I'm going full fanboy mode on this one. I mean, this printer, incredible. I'm going to do a short hit now for the people who don't want to wait, and then there's going to be a lot of pictures at the end of the video. And I am going to ramble about this printer after the short hit because I absolutely love it. So the short hit is, the Z is super stable. I watched the beginning and end of every single print very intently. I could not detect even the slightest wobble or flex in that dual axis Z, so that's great. The light source test, I'm going to show it now. Maybe I'll even show it more than once because, to be honest, it was so good. I think I ran it like 4 or 5 times. I couldn't believe how perfect it was, so I kept running it. I mean, the light source is perfectly even. All over the entire screen. I mean, it's the absolute best light source test I've ever done on any printer. Okay? So, I mean, I was, what do I want? That's the short hit. I highly recommend this printer. And then I'm going to talk more about the comparison between 4K and 8K and what that resolution jump actually means or doesn't mean to me. And then you can determine if it means anything to you after I explain, what I found. And I'm going to show pictures. But again, I have to reiterate, the Z is super stable, the light source, phenomenal. I did a couple of full plate prints just to make sure that light source, even though it looked even, that everything printed perfectly everywhere, and it did. The other thing is, I and Frozen will probably be mad at me when I say this, they won't call this fanboy stuff. I thought their 4K resin, which I tested and I did a review, and I thought it was okay. But I thought the 4K resin was kind of like marketing hype. So I actually expected the 8K resin they shipped with it. I kind of thought that would be the same thing. Like, I thought I would still get probably better results out of Epac's Hard Gray, which everyone knows has been my favorite resin, or maybe the Story Navy Blue. I can say, I think pretty confidently, the 8K resin is not a trick. I actually, to my surprise, I got better prints with that Frozen 8K resin than even my Epac's Hard Gray. So for me, that was shocking. Because again, I thought it was going to be just marketing hype, and now I love that resin. I'm not sure it matters on my older printers, but on an 8K printer, I'm going to use that 8K resin. So that's a big switch for me. For me, what makes a really great printer is you want reliability, repeatability, and accuracy. So because this Z is so stable and the machine seems so well constructed to me, and the light source looks just like perfect, to me, this is now for me the best home 3D printer that I've ever tested. And the results are also the best because it has the highest resolution. Now let's talk about the 4K versus the 8K. And a lot of people have asked me, like on Facebook already, like, can you see it even with your naked eye? So to me, when I hold up a print from 4K and 8K, with my naked eye, I can't necessarily make out the differences, but the 8K print just like looks overall a little better to me, like a little sharper, a little clearer. It's not like an earth-shattering difference. Difference between the 2K and the 8K, yes. But if you have a 4K printer that's working really well, like I have the Phrozen Sonic Mini 4K, the longer 4K, which is also excellent. I didn't do my review, but that's an excellent printer, even though it's expensive. And the Epac's, I have the Epac X1 4K. If they're working well, and all mine are, the 8K print next to the 4K print, even when you look really close, even when I put on my nerd glasses and look, I can see a difference between the 8K and the 4K, but it's slight, to be honest. So the smallest details are like a little clearer on the 8K. And if there's runes carved in, like I showed you, pictures coming up, the runes are a little, just more well-defined and clear. So to me, if you have a really well-working 4K printer, small 4K printer, do you need to upgrade to 8K? Not necessarily, unless you're like crazy perfectionist like me, but it is a little clearer. Everything is a little more well-defined. Looking at what I get when I print, I'm really getting what the sculptors sculpt. Every little detail that a sculptor sculpts now coming out perfectly. And again, on my good small 4K printers, I was already kind of feeling that. Now, it's just a little better. So the takeaway from that's not an earth-shattering difference between the 8K and good 4K small screen printer. But it is, to me, it is noticeable. Other people might say, yeah, what's the difference? So that's going to be a personal thing, whether each slight improvement is enough to matter to you. I tend to think being, you guys have seen my painting, I'm a kind of middling painted, maybe a slightly above average. For me, the clearer and more well-defined everything is on miniature, the easier it is for someone like me to paint. Maybe like a great painter like, like James Wapple or Chris Spots or, Mad Max or, Bertiak, people like this, I'm sure they could paint like an egg and make it look good. But for me, I need better definition, it's just better for me. So anyway, for me, the prints, all the prints are just fantastic. Like every single print I did on this machine was the best print I ever did, basically. So again, not earth-shattering difference, but to me, I like it. I think what's more important, the reason I'm going like full fanboy mode on this printer is I believe after using it for these 5 days, like 24/7, I think it's going to continue on. Every single print's been perfect. The repeatability, that light source being so perfect really excites me because I've done light source tests on like 30 different printers, maybe more by now. And this one, maybe I'll show it again, it's just absolute perfection. Like after I filmed it the first time I did it. And it was so good looking through the camera. I put the camera down, I just ran the light source test like 4 more times, because I couldn't believe I just want to make sure it was really that good before I came and reported to you guys how good it was. I was shocked it was that perfect. And I know Frozen had actually made that point of emphasis in their marketing that it had a really good, even light source. Well, it's not BS. The light source is that good. And that dual Z-axis, like not even like the faintest hint of wobble, flex, whatever you want to call it, it just perfect. And my prints are just like drop dead gorgeous. So you know, Phrozen Semi I went to test. I think I may have said that in the first part. I can't remember, full disclosure, but that doesn't, you guys know, it doesn't affect my review. As you guys know about my channel, I still have never taken a sponsorship with any one of these companies, and I won't do it because I need to stay independent. So I don't care, they send me something to test. But honestly, I'm probably going to buy anywhere from 3 to 4 more of these, just, you know, off Amazon when I can, or off their site if they're whatever. Because, well, actually, I'm negotiating with them now to try to get a discounted price for you in my Kickstarter that's coming up. By the way, please, if you don't know about my next Kickstarter is coming out soon. In the description will be a link. Please sign up to be notified. I would so love if people would support the channel by getting the Kickstarter. It's a mix of anime and Dungeons and Dragons. It's the minis are like amazing. Anyway, I don't want to advertise that too much. So I'm trying to get a deal where I can get Phrozen to give a big discount on this amazing printer and put it in the Kickstarter. And if I do that, by the way, I don't make money off it. Every dollar that goes for Phrozen printer goes to Phrozen. I'm not trying to make money off that. I'm trying to see if I can cut a good deal for you guys, which some people might say it's too stupid of me, but you guys are the community. You guys support my channel. I'm doing what I can, to help you guys also. So hopefully in my Kickstarter, there will be a really, really good deal on this printer. And I'm not giving this a good review to try to get Phrozen to let me put it in my Kickstarter. I love the printer, so I want it in my Kickstarter. This is literally like the best printer I've ever used. Okay, like hands down, the best home 3D printer I've ever used. But I feel like for me, that's pretty high praise because I've tested a lot, I've loved a lot, and I've never been a Phrozen fanboy, but now maybe I am. I mean, this printer's really, 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 really well done. So that's it. Any questions, like hit me up on Facebook or come to the Facebook page. I'll be posting prints as I keep printing with this and with the 8K resin. I'm going to have a review of their 8K resin separately because although I printed a lot with it, I haven't done any break tests yet. So I don't know how it holds up. I just know that it prints incredible. In fact, it kind of almost looks like if resin could be called higher resolution, it kind of like a higher resolution of almost of the Serrated navy gray. Like the prints look color-wise like very similar. So, but it doesn't seem to separate as fast as the Serrated navy gray when it's in the back. Like it doesn't separate at all so far for me. So, but I'll test that also. I've been printing so much with it, maybe it hasn't had time to separate it all. But I'll test that and see how it holds up. If I don't use it for 2-3 days, like will it start to separate out or does it stay mixed well? But anyway, coming up when I'm done here, it's going to be just a bunch of the pictures of the prints, close-up, high-res photos that you can take your time and look at. There's comparisons between 4K and 8K, and again, they're not earth-shattering, but it is, in my opinion, it's noticeably better, although it's a small difference. So again, up to you guys whether that matters to you or not. But as far as just like being a quality printer, this is the best printer, and it's giving me the best prints. So I can confidently say right now, this is like the best printer I've ever tested. I'm super excited to still be working with it. I have prints running still like 24/7 on it because it's just like I pull something off and it just looks amazing, right? It's just great. It's great. So anyway, that's it for review. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, please like, please subscribe, please check out my other videos if you want to learn how to support. I got a ton of videos on that. I know I've been promising it for a while, but the lychee videos are coming. And also I'm going to do a video comparing, now that I have these prints off an 8K printer, comparing them to injection molded, pieces from like Reaper and stuff like that. So look for that video as well. And that's it. Thanks and happy 3D printing.